What's up, guys? We are back. UFC Paris week, big weekend in mixed martial arts. To my left, the cornerman, Ryan Quinn. What's up, brother? How are you?
What's going on, everybody? Good to be back again talking about fights and picks.
I know. So like last week, I watched it like twice, and we fluffed 24 minutes. It was amazing, but
Yeah.
we fluffed it. Underneath, who fluffs nothing, undefeated, has a fight on the horizon. The undefeated, the ruthless Elle Wagman. Elle, how are you?
I'm doing great. Glad to be back actually picking some fights this week.
There we go. Me too. Me too. It's a kind of a weird card. To me, it's there's two or three high level pay-per-view type of big fights. The bottom of the card, especially maybe to a lot of mainstream guys or outer guys, they probably don't know. There's a couple little that Wood versus Jourdain is a great fight. That's a little sleeper there, but a lot of stuff maybe to take advantage of or maybe to be lost. So I'll let you guys take it away. Let's start with Elle Wagman. Of course, what is your absolute? You've been nailing this one now. What's your absolute best bet on the board?
So Gane was such a big favorite on this card. I was actually surprised to see him as such a heavy favorite, but I really think that this is going to go over 2.5 rounds. And you can get plus money on Gane just by adding the over 2.5 to that. He kind of starts slow, and I think that's going to actually be to his benefit with a guy like Tuivasa, who has one way to win, which is a knockout in rounds 1 and 2. Is the only way I see Ty winning this fight. And he's going to slow down in those later rounds. And Gane is an absolute master of the range control. He's great at slowing down the fights, and he's great at picking apart those shorter guys. I really think he's going to take his time with Ty, and I think you'll see him in the over.
Spoiler alert, that's my absolute favorite bet on the card. I just literally recorded the show. I love Ciryl Gane. I think it's actually going to go all 25 minutes, to be really honest. I think they're going to stay away. I don't think Gane to me is a welterweight and a heavyweight body. Very smooth, very technical. I love that play. Good job, Elle Wagman. Ryan, best bet on the board, my man.
Yeah, before I get into my best bet, I purposely stayed away from that for the reasons you just said. I felt like it was going to be touched on. Gane is just such an untraditional heavyweight fighter in the sense. It's not like Rock'em Sock'em. He's very calculated. He could use that lateral footwork. So I love watching that guy fight. But my pick of the night is the next fight down. I have Robert Whittaker over Marvin Vettori. I just think that Robert is he's more athletic. We're going to see that a little more now. Marvin is so solid, but I feel like he's just like how do I put it? Like Whittaker's just a little bit faster. He's got a little bit more to his game. He could level change. He could use the we're gonna see a much more confident approach than when he last fought Israel without the frustration. So I just have him winning. I think it's gonna go all 15 minutes.
Love that as well. I love us and Bobby Knuckle. He's like every fighter's favorite fighter, so you can't go wrong there. All right, underdog play. There's not a lot of great underdog play. Let's see something jumped at you guys more than me. I looked through it. I went to mybookie.ag. That's where I make my bets. I couldn't find a lot. Elle, what's your best underdog play in the card?
So I actually have two that I kind of want to touch on, but I really think that these are ones that you should play the live lines on. I definitely agree with you. I think the Vegas odds, they did a good job this card. They know what they're doing. But there's two guys I think you should watch for, and that's Nathaniel Wood and Joaquin Buckley. Buckley is like this crazy wild card. He'll have these fights where he comes out and he looks absolutely terrible, and he can't get going. He's sloppy, and those are the fights where he ends up losing. And then he'll have these fights where he comes out with just this crazy athleticism, and those are the fights where he ends up finding those early flash KOs. So I think if you watch him in the first minute and a half, if he looks comfortable and if he's moving in and out, I think that you should definitely play the plus money while he's still got that plus money early in the fight. As for Wood, I don't know. As with Charles Jourdain, he's a hard fighter for me. I think he's pretty overrated, to be honest. I know he's got some of these cool, flashy things that he does really well, but if you look at the strength of schedule, other than Shane Burgos, he's not losing to these super high-level guys. Like Julian Erosa is tough as nails, and that's how he beat him. He just simply outdogged him and grappled him heavily and got him to the ground. Wood has the better wrestling, and I think that Wood is also really fundamentally sound. He's very defensively sound, and he's very clean. And I think Jourdain does better with the guys who he can kind of lull into his awkward, weird brawly thing that he does. And that's where he's dangerous. And I think he's going to have a hard time getting Wood into that. And if you see Woods keeping the range really well or fitting in early, I think that he's another guy that you should play those live lines.
Elle Wagman's definitely the younger sister I never had. My best underdog plays Nathaniel Wood. I just think he's underrated, and I like Jourdain as well. I think he's a tad overrated. Like, it's wavelength 100%. It's gonna be a good fight, and the odds are close. They are, but Wood is the underdog, so I like that as well. Ryan, my guy, any of those jump at you as well, or you have a new underdog?
Joaquin Buckley by knockout for the same reason that I just it jumps off the page at me. You know, I feel like which Phil did Nasruddin fight? Was it Phil Hawes? I forgot who he fought, but he looked real sloppy and somewhat exposed. And I just feel that Buckley is just he's gonna come in there just throwing that right hand a lot, throwing that straight a lot, throwing the overhand, and I think it's gonna land. So I have him by knockout. I'll get into the other fight later.
Okay, I like that. That means the 3-5 parlay's coming one way or another. Elle Wagman, Ryan, we've been nailing these guys. My girls had such a good summer. They got like 3 pairs of shoes, and they got socks, and they got all kinds of hats, and so the girls are doing good, and that's because I hit 3-5 parlays from my guy Ryan and Elle. I go to mybookie.ag. Elle, keep it rolling. All right, we're back in the UFC. Let's nail a 3-5 parlay. I'm ready. Let's hit it.
So I'm going to start off with my best bet as my first leg with Gane in that over 2.5 rounds. And then I'm actually going to steal Ryan's best bet with Whitaker over Vettori. I'm not sold on the over with that. I'm leaning towards the over. I think that's going to be a decision, but I just threw Whitaker in there as the winner. And then the last leg of my parlay was Roman Kopylov. I feel like he and Alessio Di Chirico are both kind of fighting for their jobs. They're both kind of on a bit of a skid, and Alessio has struggled with those heavy wrestlers in the past. I think Kopylov is a tough style matchup for Alessio in this fight.
Oof. A lot of big names that I'm not going to try to pronounce right now. I'm not commentator, so I'm going to relax on it. Ryan, that's a good one right there. Gane, Whitaker, okay, Roman, I like that. Ryan, what's your 3-5 parlay, my guy?
All right, first one I have right at the top, I got Stephanie Egger over Aylin Perez. I just feel that, and actually I think that fight's going to be a finish as well. I just feel that Stephanie, she's fought just much tougher competition. She's solid. Aylin's, she's a newcomer. I think she took this fight on fairly short notice as well. And her opposition was like, I think the best person she ever fought was like 8-4. Like, so it was, and just coming up against a now going to be 5-fight UFC veteran, going to be tough to do. The next one I have, I kind of leaned on the French prospect to watch thing here. You know, I looked at his opposition. Let me just get to his name. Benoit Saint-Denis. He's fought a lot of really tough dudes, and he's fought at the UAE. I forgot the name of the UAE promotion. He fought on Cage Warriors. Fought a lot of that tough European Middle East competition, and he's facing a late replacement in Gabriel Miranda. I think that this is definitely a fight where he's going to be a French prospect to watch. Now, going back to the underdogs with Nathaniel Wood and Charles Jourdain. I have Wood over Jourdain as well. On top of everything we just said, I just think he's got the scrappiness. You know, I think we're going to see a lot of shooting under long punches for takedowns and just that scrappy grind style in this fight. I know Charles has really good. They say he's well-rounded. We've seen really good striking out of him. We've seen pretty good grappling, but we haven't seen really the middle ground to really judge that. And I think that Nathaniel Wood, he's up at 145 now. He just fought 2.5 months ago, which maybe he took no damage. He's probably feeling good now that he's up in weight. He's still rolling, and he slipped into shape for this fight as well. And I like that. So that's my 3-5 parlay.
I like it. I like it a lot, guys. A lot of Nathaniel Wood on it. Real quick, we got like a couple more minutes. So let me just two last things I want to throw your way. Sean Strickland's out last night, Contender Series. I don't know if you guys saw his mangled finger on social media. He's out. October 15th, Jarrett Kinnear needs a new dancing partner. Would you guys think if Bobby Knuckles or if Marvin Vettori, one of those guys, slides in pretty easily, even by a TKO win, or even goes 15 minutes but doesn't take a lot of damage, can you see one of those guys winning and kind of jumping for that main event spot to get another win the middleweights, if Izzy keeps that spot, it's like, what else do you do? But if Piera wins in 6 weeks in Madison Square Garden, you kind of want to have that momentum. If Robert Whittaker beats Vettori and Kinnear in a 4-week fashion, that would be big. That would be big. Do you guys like that idea, or are you guys like, no, this is his one big moment, stay away?
I think that's a great idea, especially with Bobby Knuckles he's been stuck at that number one contender spot for so long. Like he's just he's kind of like the Colby Covington of that division, where he just can't quite beat the champ, but he's demolishing everybody else, you know. I think you'll see him kind of jump for that and probably get his next title shot again. Sorry, Ryan, I think
It's totally fine. I think it works well for both of them, but it works better for Marvin. I think that he really needs a little more push behind him. You know, there's a lot of stars in that division. He's a great fighter, but he's kind of like, you know, he needs to really push up there. Yeah. I feel like, does Whittaker, has he really done like a short turnaround on fights recently?
He really doesn't. Remember, they even offered the title shot towards the end of the year, and he turned it down. He's like, no, I want to be with Christmas with my family. He turned down a title shot to give Izzy more time. He really doesn't. But maybe if the UFC goes like, hey, you know, we might have a new champion. We really want to make a statement. Especially, like I said, if Vettori beats Robert Whittaker and Jared Kinnear in a 5-week span, like he's the number one contender. Like Vettori versus Alex Pereira is kind of cool. Same thing I would assume with Robert Whittaker. Whittaker has beat Kinnear before. You know, it's a lot of rematches up there in the middleweight division, especially, Whittaker's been there for so long. I just think it's a main event. You need a big name, and maybe both these guys cancel each other out. And all the other middleweights are pretty much tied up. The only other one that's not is Darren Till. And I don't know if Till wants to go 25 minutes with Kinnear. I don't know. Seems off.
Yeah, it's tough. I think for sure they're waiting for this week to play out to see what happens next.
Last thing for you, Ciryl Gane, Tai Tuivasa. Do you foresee one of these, and especially I would assume the winner, can one of these guys become UFC heavyweight champion? John Jones is coming back. We got Stipe, maybe one more fight, 2 more. We got Francis Ngannou. Can Gane or Tai Tuivasa ever become heavyweight champion?
I don't think Ty is going to end up with a belt, man. I think he beats. Obviously, he's got the power, and it's always possible. And at heavyweight, you see the puncher's chance happen a lot more often. But Francis is so much more physical. So if obviously I know he's out right now. We're going to see an interim champ. I could see Gane maybe beating Stipe. I don't think Gane beats John. Well, I'm interested to see how John Jones does at heavyweight, but the guy looks huge right now. And he has such an athletic advantage over a lot of those, athletic advantage over a lot of those heavyweights. I think he's probably going to dominate that division as well. And I think Gane's going to have a lot of trouble with a guy like John Jones, who's just as long as him, but can also wrestle.
Got it. Ryan?
Yeah, maybe Gane. I don't see Tuivasa. I don't see Ty doing it, but I think if Ty pulls off a win this weekend, I think that they express lane him to a title shot because
me too.
Similar to like how they did it for Derek Lewis, it's like you don't want to chance this guy getting out wrestled or getting beat by like just get him in there, you know, while the iron's hot, you know.
Yeah.
But no, I could see Gane more than Tuivasa becoming champion.
There we go, guys. The cornerman, Ryan Quinn, the undefeated Elle Wagman. Guys, make your bets this weekend for UFC Paris at mybookie.ag. Make sure you use promo code BANANAS. Like, come on, use the code, people. We appreciate it. I think that's it. I think we absolutely murdered this card. I think we made a lot of people money. Buckley as the underdog. We looks like we're all on Gane going the distance or winning, and we all got Robert Whittaker. So we're all kind of on the same page. I like it. We're unison.
All right. That's what I'm talking about.
Are you in with a trivia, Ryan? Are you going to kill us with the trivia?
I don't. I forgot to get a trivia tonight. Maybe I'll give you 2 next week. I forgot.
2 next time. We'll start the show with the trivia and we'll end it with it.
Yeah. All right. Perfect.
All right, guys. See you guys later.
Later.